Ever consider owning a gun for your personal safety or for sport? Well, Joburgtoday heads out to a gun range to find out more.
I've been involved in the firearms training for almost 20 years. We've had a couple of instances where people are very uncomfortable because of various reasons, maybe a traumatic experience where they're not comfortable with the firearms, but the specific training process that we follow, they get eased into it. Often it's a good idea, especially if you look at self-defense purposes for both the partners or both the people staying in the household, to be able to utilize a firearm, are competent with a firearm and probably own their own firearm. For the self-defense, often it's not only a single person involved with it, but it might involve the whole family. So if the husband is familiar with firearm safety, know how to handle the firearm, the wife is familiar with the firearm safety, it just makes the whole environment a safer environment. In terms of the firearm types that we provide training in, we've got handgun, shotgun, manually operated rifles, typically a hunting rifle, bolt action type of rifle, semi-automatic rifles, as well as black powder firearms. We use the CZ75 and the 9mm because the caliber is very common. It's typically what the person would purchase. And then from a training perspective, the CZ has got all the features that we need to test during the assessment process.
It's a different experience. I've always seen it on movies and I thought it was easy, but yeah, it's something else. There's a lot going on here. You have to control your breathing. You have to control also your finger. Yeah, I've seen a lot of guys, after getting the first one, they're going for more. So it's addictive.
In South Africa, where the crime rate is so high and where people get killed on a daily basis, to know how to defend yourself. And also, because of what I'm studying, I'm going to work with criminals, and some of them come back for retribution. So you need to know how to handle a gun in South Africa and how to protect yourself, because if you don't, sometimes it's more dangerous to have a gun and not know than know what you're doing.
It's not only just about using a firearm in defense or taking another human life. There's also that whole aspect of the sporting side to it, the family bonding side of it. So it can be a rewarding experience.
So as far as the broader process goes of acquiring a firearm, the first step would be to do your homework. Not in terms of the firearms training, but find a registered, accredited training provider that has got a good reputation, that's been in the industry for a long time, has got good credentials. Do not go out and shop only for price. There's always a reason why something is cheaper. There is certain things that could disqualify you into qualifying for a competency certificate. As far as the training goes, we can do training from roughly about the age of 18 years upward, if you have a valid reason for doing the training. That would include sport shooting, dedicated hunting, or going into security or game ranging, for instance. If you acquire a firearm for self-defense purposes, it's extremely important that you, in the first place, develop a high level of skill, and then you also need to maintain it, because especially handguns, which is your preferred firearm for self-defense purposes, that skill is perishable, and if you don't maintain it, you will lose that skill, and when the test comes in a real-life situation, you're not probably going to get the desired results.
And what about the amnesty for gun owners with expired firearm licenses? How does that work?
The amnesty process in broad is the firearm owner have to hand in his firearm at the police for safekeeping while he reapplies for his firearm license. To be able to reapply for your firearm license, he must complete the training that's required. That would include training on the Firearms Control Act, as well as the handle and use of the specific firearm type. And that is where we come in. We supply the training, the testing, and then after that, the police take the process further. People don't, if your firearm license have expired, you don't actually have much of a choice. People are very reluctant to do it. They don't want to hand the firearms over to the police because of issues that there has been in the past, firearms getting lost, firearms getting damaged. How well it's managed at this stage, we're not 100% sure. But unfortunately, you don't have much of a choice. If your firearm license has expired, you have to hand in your firearm at the police and then reapply for your firearm license. Most firearm owners is law-abiding people. They want to comply with the law, and they will go out of their way to stay compliant. They want to stay in possession of a legally licensed firearm.
Hi, I'm Danny Glover, and you're watching Joburgtoday.